All right, everybody, we're going to start with in-person questions.
A rare moment when confidence works in our favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, go.
Yeah, we're good.
On the road against two-time champs. You guys, were right there. So they made went on that run in that early, about midway second quarter. Is it just difficult to keep pace with them, especially as you're down four starters?
Yes, it's difficult if you're fully healthy in this building to keep pace with them because that's what they've done on their way to two championships. It's difficult when you're shorthanded. And also, we should have played a lot better than we played tonight.
You very specifically mentioned transition
Yeah.
points in the paint, and it seems like they got a little loose in both of those areas.
A lot loose. There's a layup line there for a minute.
What do you say to the team after the game? All right.
Everybody in the locker room, staff, players, myself, obviously, got to take accountability for it. I don't think we can just flush it and say we just move on. So I'll save my most of my talking for film tomorrow.
And I think it was a season high and whatever the field goal percentage was. Was that layups that you were talking about, or again, was it it was a hot shooting team also?
Yeah, they have great players, but we made it far too easy. Blown coverages right from the jump, and then effort, hustle, communication, all the stuff that we expect of ourselves.
And just one last one. We talked a lot about Shatori, and she had another. I think this is definitely season high, kind of career high. I think going back to 2020 again. Just what do you like about what she's doing these days?
When she's shooting the ball aggressively, I think she knows we need her to help space the floor right now, and she's doing a good job of that. She's picked her chances or picked her opportunities to attack and get in the lane, and then I think defensively, for the most part, her activity's been pretty good.
Thank you.
Jen?
Hey Eric, without Steph, what did you feel like were some of the biggest adjustments you needed your team to make, and how do you feel like you executed on those things?
Everybody had to be themselves and play well and do the things that we expect everybody on this team to do, which is to communicate, defend, run the floor, know our offense, work hard to execute, and I just didn't think we did that across the board.
And offensively, you guys shot 41% from three, but less than that from two. What do you feel like the biggest difference was? Getting a pretty good percentage from three, but not making it work inside the arc.
I don't know, we made we just made a couple more shots, but I thought overall our offense was half speed and naive. I don't know, half speed and just a step slow, a step short.
And then just last one for me, wanted to ask you about Emily real quick. She had that big weekend against Dallas a couple weeks ago, and then had been pretty quiet in her last three coming in, and then she has 10 tonight. What were you kind of telling her the past couple games when she wasn't scoring as much, and what were you trying to get out of her, and what did you see from her tonight?
She has to be assertive. I think she's most of my discussions with her and others aren't necessarily about their scoring, but it's about, defensively being in the right coverage, getting up to screens, playing with pace offensively. So, we haven't, and we're probably not going to run a ton of plays for Emily. So she's got to be aggressive when she gets her opportunities, but she's got to help us execute and move the ball and play with pace. And I think when she does those things, much like some of our other players, then she'll get opportunities to score.
Thank you.
Thanks, E.
All right.
All right, we'll get started with in-person questions.
Hey, for either, that's a team with a lot of firepower. You guys down a lot of people. What's the challenge in trying to keep up with the two-time champs when, you guys are literally short?
Yeah, I think it goes down to two things in my opinion: sticking to the game plan and giving effort. They're obviously who they are, and they're gonna go on runs, but it's how you respond to those runs. It's crucial against a team like that. But I think the two things that we did it at times, but we didn't sustain it, was, sticking to the game plan and trusting our defense, and also, just matching their effort and intensity.
Speaking of the defense, Eric just say, I think he called it a layup line, but even beyond that, they shot at a high clip. Is that a hot team, or were you guys particularly not happy with the defense?
I think it's what Tori said. I think at times when they got off, we weren't sticking to the game plan, to be honest with you. They were comfortable tonight. Simple as that.
I want to ask about Tori, what are you most impressed with the way she's been playing these last recently, however many games it's been that she's been on this run?
Yeah, I mean, just her consistency and her confidence has been huge for us. Obviously, she takes the reins of being one of our leaders as well, and her voice is really important, and I've been hearing her more. Thank you. But I think more than anything, like, her confidence is contagious right now, and the consistency in what she does. I mean, you see the workout on the floor, but she's the same person day in and day out when she comes into the gym and puts in the work. So I'm not surprised by it at all, but her consistency and her confidence is huge for us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all for me.
Perfect.
Chen?
Hey, Ariel. Hey, Tori.
Jen.
As far as turning the page from this one, obviously another one coming up quick, what kind of approach do you want to take? How much do you want to watch film and dissect this one versus kind of flushing it and moving on?
I think all of the above. This is definitely a learning opportunity. And I think the way to learn with this one is to see it. It's one thing to say it, but we gotta watch some film and to see, different things like, body language and what our game plan should be compared to what we didn't do. But then after that, it's on to next one. We have another great opportunity on Saturday.
And with Steph out today, what were some of the adjustments that you had to make without her on the court, and how do you feel like you handled those?
I mean, I don't like the way that we played for a big stretch of the game. Steph's our biggest body. She's our popping big that has decided to roll as well. But she's gotten a lot better at. It's obviously hard. I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say. Like, it's hard when you're down another player. I mean, it's tough. Obviously, I feel like we can still show up as a team. I think we have everything we need in that locker room, but I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, makes sense. And Tori, just last one for you. I know you've talked about over the years about staying ready and leading the bench group. Like, we hear that from you this year, but that's not anything new per se, because you've focused on that in the past. But is there a difference in how you're approaching any of that this season, or what's working particularly well for you as you try to do those things that you've long tried to do in your career, if that makes sense?
Yeah, the thing for me is just the approach had to start for me at the first day of training camp, so that when the time does come, it's not a light switch that I can just turn it on. But if I have that mental approach before the season even starts, and when my number is called or different things are called or different things is asked of me, it's second nature, because I've been, mentally preparing for the moment. And I try to take that approach every day at practice, every day at a workout, and every day at practice. I mean, at a game. But also, not only just leading by my voice, but also leading by example as well.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Safe travels to Minnesota.